Before we begin today's video, I'd just like to remind folks that I run a Twitch channel. I use my Twitch to stream games, quizzes, countdowns, Q&As, and much more. So please make sure to follow me on Twitch to be notified every time I go live. Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here and welcome to another episode of Jambareeqi Orange, the show where I let my patrons decide what I review. The options for this episode included The Karate Kid, Clerks, The Sea Beast, The Adventures of Sharkboy Lavagirl, A Troll in Central Park, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. They chose The Adventures of Sharkboy Lavagirl. Max is an imaginative boy who has created two superhero characters called Sharkboy and Lavagirl. However, his class bully, Linus, mocks Max's dream project, and his teacher wishes that Max did more with his life. Sharkboy and Lavagirl then suddenly make an entrance, insisting that Max comes to save their world, planet Drool, which has been taken over by the evil Mr. Electric and his master, Minus. Max must use his dreaming powers to restore planet Drool back to normal. Now, this film was actually based on the dreams and ideas of director Robert Rodriguez's son, Racer Rodriguez. While this is a cute sentiment for a father to do for their son, and a lot of the film does feel like it comes from the mind of a 7-year-old, I can't say that the finished film pays off. Ideas for movies can come from anywhere, and it's fine if Robert took inspiration from his own son's imagination. Unfortunately, I never get the impression that Robert sharpened or polished his son's ideas, so we end up with a very confusing and messy film that clearly needed more refining before filming started. Dreams play an integral part in this movie's narrative, so much so that 90% of the dialogue features the word dream.
Everything that is, or was, began with a dream.
Dream a dream and get us out. Dream, 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 dream.
The problem is that it's hard to tell when something is Max's dream and when we're in reality. The movie seems to be switching between both, and we often can't really tell whether Max is dreaming or his imagination has poured into his real life. I also found it difficult to follow the rules of the movie. It's fine for a fantasy film to be weird and out there, heck we should expect it, but Sharkboy and Lavagirl doesn't really follow its own consistent logic. It's like watching a child constantly change their mind about the game's rules.
Where did he go? He's headed to Earth.
He's going to try and destroy you in your sleep.
In my sleep? You mean I'm asleep?
Another issue is that the film is very surface level and in your face when it comes to its storytelling. Like, all the foreshadowing for later reveals are about as subtle as a jackhammer.
Linus took my journal. I did not.
Linus.
I am Minus.
And the real life metaphors on planet Drool are instantly obvious.
It's just that you're sitting right under the vent. And it's August and you're sneezing.
Kneel before the Ice Princess.
Not to mention the movie frequently over-explains its jokes.
Hey, watts? You know, watts, as in a measure of electrical power. The 60-watt bulb?
Sure, this is a kids movie, but it's insulting to assume that kids are incapable of being challenged by film subtext, or have to be told down like they're dumb. There's a big difference between charming simplicity and uninspired patronization. Sharkboy and Lavagirl is sadly the latter, because it condescends kids into following along rather than trusting their intelligence.
Class, what's my name? Mr. Electricidad, exactly. Not Mr. Electric, not Mr. Electricity, that.
Every single thing in this movie is obnoxiously excessive. There's this overindulgence to the visuals that's all just way too much to take in. Yes, imagination is a very important aspect of the film, but there's such thing as putting too much imagination into a movie. There's no self-control or restraint behind the wheel, so we're bombarded with all these over-the-top colours, noises and movements. The film also has half the budget of your average 2000s mainstream blockbuster, so all the special effects end up looking super cheap and very tacky. Look, I get that Robert Rodriguez's thing is being independent and multi-skilled as a filmmaker, but his choice to supervise all these commissioned visual effects shows that his talents have a limit. Heck, the film's garish CGI effects are often so misguided that they border on being uncanny valley nightmare fuel. There's so many shots in this film that are intended to be funny or cool, but they just come off as uncomfortably strange or creepy. The film is supposed to be a 3D experience as well. A movie where the audience dons 3D red/cyan glasses to see the illusion of three-dimensional effects. It's pretty much an overpriced cinema gimmick and very little more. Sharkboy and Lavagirl must be fun for kids to watch in the cinema in 3D, especially for children who have never seen a 3D movie before. But when you watch this film in 2D, we're basically left with some seriously annoying visuals. Without the novelty of 3D glasses, many shots are just awkward, because the actors and effects artists have been told to put emphasis on audience interaction, shoving whatever they can into our eyes. This is what happens when a film puts its 3D gimmick before making a good movie. So what about Sharkboy and Lavagirl themselves? Well, they don't exactly make the best impression. Sharkboy has the one single character trait of being constantly angry and bad-tempered, which just makes him come off as a jerk all the way through the film, because all he does is snap at people, threaten violence, or lose his patience.
The answer is in your dreams.
You mean if I put him to sleep, he'll dream us out of this mess?
While Lavagirl's entire personality is built around her feeling sad that she's naturally flammable and lacks a purpose. Now yes, it must honestly suck to easily set things on fire despite being designed to be a hero, and sure, she's nice compared to Sharkboy, but she just ends up pitting herself and sulking for the whole movie. She's not very fun company, and her self-loathing is more grating than sympathetic.
I know I can be good. I can feel it. But everything I touch, I destroy. Why'd you make me like that?
Sure, it's nice that Max ends up giving Sharkboy and Lavagirl self-worth by the end, with Sharkboy becoming the king of the ocean, and Lavagirl realising that a fire can be light, but these sentiments don't change how overflawed and unlikable these kid superheroes come off.
So how about I put him to sleep right now?
No, Sharkboy.
Just one punch.
I have to say that the only saving grace for this film is Max's arc. As a character, Max's development is the only thing in this movie that's done well and remains consistent. At the film's start, Max is introduced as a very imaginative boy, but he's so invested in his daydreams that he struggles to adapt to reality. He abandons projects, fails to make friends at school, and doesn't let himself process his parents' impending divorce. It's his adventure on Planet Draw that makes him see his imagination in a new light. His imagination could be more than a personal escape from his real life. It could be used to help others and change the world for the better.
I wanted all my dreams to come true, but I only dreamt for myself. I wanted to escape my real world, and the world needed my help to make it a better place. Selfish dreams shouldn't come true.
It's one thing to dream something up, but it's a test of true character to make that dream a reality. By the movie's end, Max begins to apply his talented imagination to real life. By finally finishing building a toy robot that he started with his dad, behind all the bells and whistles nonsense of this movie is the coming-of-age story of how a young boy turns his knack for creativity into something constructive.
So dream a better dream, then work to make it real.
While I do have nostalgic feelings for this movie, I can't say that it's actually a good film. It's so gimmicky that it's like going on one of those shopping mall ride simulators, except the ride drags on for 90 minutes and is full of bad acting.
He ruined my dream journal! I did not! Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
It might distract easily entertained small children for 90 minutes, but the whole thing is just this overambitious and misplaced mess that condescendingly insults its audience. The idea of making a film for your son might sound sweet, but such a noble intention doesn't exactly guarantee a good movie for public audiences. So what did you think of the Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl? Let everyone know in the comments section below, and don't forget to click that like button. What am I going to be reviewing in the next episode? Well, that's entirely up to my patrons. The options for the next episode include Monster High, New Girl at School, Halloween 2018, Wendell and Wild, Casper, What We Do in the Shadows, and Nope. Pretty awesome selection, right? Now don't forget that you have to be a patron in order to access this poll. What is a patron? Don't worry, I'll explain.
This is my Patreon. It's a site for my fans to support me financially on through a monthly basis. Those who donate are called patrons. Patrons can donate as much as they want and are welcome to stop donating any time. In return for their generosity, patrons are given exciting rewards based on their pledge amount. These rewards include early access to my videos before they go up publicly on YouTube, behind the scenes content, their name in the end credits of my videos, a chance to request a review of anything at all, and much more.
I'm very excited to find out which film my patrons vote for next. Cheerio, folks.